Buenas noches, amigos. It's about midnight here in Buenos Aires and time for another video blog. As you saw from the video that I put together, today we visited the Ex-Esma, the Escuela Superior de Mechanica de la Armada, or in other words, the Naval Mechanic School from the 1970s. What that actually was a clandestine torture center used during the military junta in the 1970s. The crazy thing about it was that it's not just out in the middle of nowhere, it's literally just dropped into the middle of the city. And at the time, no one really knew what it was or how many people were there. So we visited there today to see what one of these centers was like. We have all of these little exercises to do for our research methods and ethics class to help us practice developing research problems based on observation and then developing further questions and theories based on that. So an exercise that we have due this week is basically a reflection on our visit to the Ex-Esma today. I figured that a really easy way for me to get my thoughts down was to make a video blog about it. If you noticed in the video, it was a bright, clear, sunny, beautiful day, and it was a really beautiful area, but it didn't feel like a beautiful area just because we knew what had gone on there. It was very unnerving to walk around this center knowing that at the time of the military takeover in Argentina during the 1970s, of the 30,000 or so people that ended up just disappearing, the desaparecidos, about 5,000 of them actually went through the center that we visited today and were tortured, held, and executed there. Then there were some very unnerving things that we learned about the center today. One in particular, that this center was used as a maternity center. So in this center, if a pregnant woman was brought in, when the time came for her to give birth, they would take the baby away from the mother, and then more often than not, the mother was killed while the baby was adopted into a family loyal to the military and raised that way and had its identity completely changed. The whole clandestine thing is just something that we don't really have to deal with in the United States. It's not something that we have dealt with. I'm having trouble articulating how I really feel about this, just because there's still so much going on in my head. So bear with me throughout this video if I seem a little scatterbrained, because I am. One of the weirdest things is that within the group of people that were targeted by the government forced disappearances were a large majority of students. I think that's something that has hit very hard for our group. When we visited the memorial wall the other day, all the ages were listed of the people who had disappeared. There were countless people who were 21, 22 years old, no different than this group of students here. And it's very discomforting to think that someone just like me who just wanted to learn could be so dangerous to the government and to the state that it was worth kidnapping and killing them. It's kind of a statement that intelligence and critical thinking is enough of a weapon that the government considers it worth killing someone over. We've seen situations that are similar to that kind of state power versus the people, but as far as we know, never have we really had that kind of mass scale movement of the government against its own people. This center that we were at today was the equivalent of a concentration camp being hidden in downtown Washington, D.C. Honestly, if the setting was the same, we wouldn't know that it was there until 30 years from now when someone makes a memorial about it. It's weird to think of yourself as a normal citizen that might not understand. And that kind of puts into perspective, what don't we know is going on? I'm totally fascinated by the guerrillas and really guerrilla movements all over the world, in Cuba, in Chile, in Argentina, and it fascinates me to wonder what kind of people these guerrillas were, what kind of people become guerrillas and become part of that militant civil movement when the timing is right. When you read about it in the history books, you don't get a concept of what it means to stand in a place where 5,000 people were kidnapped and killed just because they didn't agree with what the government was doing. So even though it was a heavy day and gave us a lot to think about, and it really kind of puts into perspective that we live and study in a place, whether in Buenos Aires or in the United States, where just receiving an education that allows us to think for ourselves isn't considered so dangerous by the state that we're worth killing for. So yeah, I've had plenty to think about. I hope this has given you guys some stuff to think about too. Keep checking out my Twitter, Bodie Wabash blog. Leave comments on the video, share it if you feel like it, or just let me know if you think I'm doing a good or terrible job with these video blogs. So on that note, have an awesome Wednesday, guys. Enjoy life, make the most of it, and a very happy 21st birthday to our grande gringo here in Buenos Aires, Nick Brown. And until then, have a great rest of the week, Wabash. Everybody love everybody, and hasta luego.